Only 2 eggs today? Solidus must have taken the day off. 7, 8, 9, 2, 5, 9, 0, 3, 6, 0, 3, 3, 0, 5, 3, 0, 5, 4, 8, 8, 2, 0, 4, 6, 6, 5, 2.
The Manhattan incident triggered a serious public backlash. Now the U.S. has to think twice before intervening militarily in other countries' affairs. This has fueled a push towards military privatization, with PMCs at the heart of that movement.
PMCs? Private military companies?
That's right. PMCs have no basis in nations or ideologies. They are private enterprises, driven by profit. In addition to dispatching mercenaries to war zones, they secure weapons and train local soldiers. They're contractors for war itself, and business is good. Their clientele includes developed nations like the US, rebel factions looking to seize power by force, smaller countries lacking armies of their own, even terrorist groups. They're in the Americas, Asia, the South Pacific, Europe, Africa, the Middle East. The rise of the PMC has spawned a war by proxy, and it's spreading across the globe.
Sonny, we'll eat them later, okay?
Every age has its mercenary. These PMCs are nothing new. We've been dealing with them since before the turn of the century.
No, Snake. They're nothing like the mercenaries of the past.
They're ready.
Sorry, I'm a little busy right now.
The Pentagon's new battlefield control system has produced a decisive difference between hired guns and the PMCs of today. The system was developed by Arms Tech Security.
Arms Tech? You mean AT Corp?
Yeah. In recent years, AT Corp has shifted focus from weapons development to security tools. And since the establishment of AT Security, business has been booming. The system makes it possible to integrate not only micro-level information on individual soldiers and units, but also macro-level information about field conditions and order of battle.
So they've finally achieved total real-time battlefield control.
That's right. And as a result, the global presence of PMCs has grown explosively. Truth is, the rise of system-controlled PMCs has led to a dramatic decline in civilian casualties and human rights violations on the battlefield.
A cleaner, safer battlefield. Makes for nice propaganda.
Again, weren't you? This is a non-smoking flight!
There's more. State governments and rebel groups can't match the maintenance price of standing forces. PMCs, by comparison, are reliable, easy to use. It wasn't long before everybody had them on the payroll. And, as a result, regular armies began to decline worldwide. It's hard to believe, I know, but PMCs are beginning to overtake conventional armies in terms of scale. Nowadays, it's the PMCs who serve as standard battalions. They already make up 60% of all combatant forces in zones of conflict.
60%?
The fact is, the world now depends largely on PMCs for waging its wars.
I thought it was the UN that authorized the PMCs in the first place.
The US abstained from voting on that resolution. In effect, Washington was endorsing PMCs without ever revealing its true intentions. Until they got wind of the uprising, that is.
The US has exported too much military power, and now she's paying the price.
That's exactly it. America has now turned war into a form of economic activity. Analysts are calling it the war economy, in that it's picking up the slack for the downward-sloping oil market. But I, for one, don't intend to simply stand by and watch it happen. For the PMCs, market expansion entails fanning the flames of war. It means more refugees.
War orphans. Child soldiers.
Yes. Even as PMC soldiers get more specialized, they're also getting younger.
Mercenaries spun off from state armies. Unmanned weapons. Child soldiers. Proxy battles in a new Cold War.
There are hundreds of PMCs in business worldwide, and their numbers are growing. Currently, 5 of them are big enough to be labeled global powers. 2 in the US, and 1 each in the UK, France, and Russia. Reconnaissance has revealed that those 5 PMCs are run by a dummy corporation that acts as a single mother company. This mother company embodies the 5 largest PMCs. Her name is Outer Heaven.
Outer Heaven? You mean?
That's right. It's Liquid.
Liquid?
He's taken command of this immense army and is now preparing to unleash an insurrection.
I watched him die.
His will lives on, in the body of the man once known as Ocelot. He aims to fan the flames of war even higher, to create the perfect world once envisioned by Big Boss.
The one world in which soldiers will always have a place.
He must be stopped, before it's too late. Do you understand, Snake? Any means necessary. Just stop Liquid's insurrection. Even if it means
killing him. You want Liquid dead. Isn't that right, Colonel?
I'm sorry. I know. This isn't justice. It's a covert assignment. A hired hit. A wet works op targeting the head of a major multinational corporation.
Why me?
Because of the military might of the PMCs and the effect they have on the economy. War is to the 21st century what oil was to the 20th, the pillar that supports the global economy. You'll recall a rather alarming report issued by that American think tank during the Cold War. One that described a new model for perpetual war. What we're facing now is a whole new ballgame.
Iron Mountain's Delphi technique.
That was fiction. It existed only on paper. The reality is far more serious. The global community is concerned, but they're all too afraid of the war economy collapsing to do anything about it. The UN, too.
Sounds pretty self-serving to me.
Snake. This mission isn't an order from Washington. Not like the old days. And it's not something the UN can officially sanction either. But we can't just look the other way while Liquid plots this insurrection. If we fail to act, he'll become the greatest threat the world has ever faced. Snake. You're the only man I can trust.
Fine. Let's hear it.
Our intelligence on Liquid's uprising originally comes via reports from U.S. Special Forces, who were mobilized after we at the UN reported our findings. They're tracking Liquid's movements. About 18 hours ago, he was spotted in the Middle East.
There's a rebel army in the Middle East, made up of ethnic minorities, waging civil war against the regime in power.
The core of that regime's army is provided by one of the PMCs under Liquid's control.
What about the rebels?
The local militias have hired small numbers of operators as trainers and field commanders. And of course, they've got help from the local PMCs.
Right. A proxy war between hired guns.
PMC versus PMC. A quagmire of war. All too typical victims of the new world economy. Snake, you'll be sneaking into the conflict zone via transport truck, disguised as one of the rebel army's hired operators. Your first objective is to make contact with our informants, Rat Patrol Team 01. They'll be expecting you.
Rat Patrol, huh? They sound sneaky.
They're a special forces team assigned to the Army's PMC Investigation Unit, CID.
CID. Real rats of the Army.
No. I can vouch for them personally.
Friends of yours?
You say that. Transportation to the area will be provided under cover of a UN humanitarian aid mission, with support from the U.S. military. From there on, though, you'll get no protection, and no guarantees from anyone. And you must not leave behind any evidence of your involvement in the area, let alone that of the UN. If word of this ever leaked out, it would spark a global firestorm. Snake. Will you do this for me? Will you terminate Liquid?
I'm not like the PMCs. I don't need your money.
Thank you.
But if you're going to spark something, spark this. Fine. I'll start my own fire.
This is what it is, right here. Dude, jog it out. Keep on punching.
Now, the breakthrough recruit workout was created by the drill sergeant when he was in boot camp, sweating off pounds and building muscle on Army time. Call now, and this one-of-a-kind weight loss program can be yours.
Beautiful people looking really good.
Toning technique perfect for every body type, every shape, every schedule. Dreaming of the perfect toned, muscular body? The sergeant will get you the results you want now.
Yeah, keep it going, keep it going. Stay strong. That's it. Keep on working, keep on working. Let's go. This is what it is. Whatever you're doing, let's go.
Call now. Within the next 10 minutes, I got 2 free nanopacks.
Nano's got me where I am today. You guys better take your vitamins.
After the baby, I ballooned and couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I gained weight and just couldn't shed the pounds. I didn't like how I looked, so naturally, I didn't like my baby. My own baby. I was uncomfortable around my friends, not to mention my husband. My own husband. Now, he can't keep his eyes off me. Va-va-voom.
Believe me, Nano machine.
I look and feel better than I did in high school, and that's saying a lot. I was a fox. Meow. I saw results the first week I started the program. Everybody started noticing, saying, Michelle, you look great. You know, what's your secret? Well, recruit workout's not a secret. And you know, I've never felt better in my life. Thanks, Sarge.
Getting good.
Stop making excuses and start making changes today. Pick up the phone and order the drill sergeant's recruit workout now. Don't wait. This is a limited time offer only.
Make sure you stay hydrated and load up on Nanos.
Call now. I'm running out. Call now.
You guys better take your vitamins.
Do you like what you see outside your window? Will you ever respect the face in your mirror? Will your children thank Evolutions. Werewolf. Evolution.
It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. War and its consumption of life has become a well-oiled machine. War has changed. ID-tagged soldiers carry ID-tagged weapons, use ID-tagged gear. Nanomachines inside their bodies enhance and regulate their abilities. Genetic control, information control, emotion control, battlefield control. Everything is monitored and kept under control. War has changed. The age of deterrence has become the age of control. All in the name of averting catastrophe from weapons of mass destruction. And he who controls the battlefield controls history. War has changed. When the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
To make a weapon available for use, ready it by selecting weapons from the menu screen. Don't forget, Snake, this is still a sneaking mission. The basic rules still apply. Snake, the fighting between the PMCs and the militia is heating up. We'd better practice those basic controls now, while there's still time. Use the left stick to move. Depending on how much you tilt it, you'll either walk or run. Keep practicing until you get the hang of it. And don't forget, the faster you move, the more noise you'll make. Pressing the crawl button changes your stance. Hold the button down to get down on your belly, or tap it quickly to switch between squatting and standing. Go ahead and give it a few tries until you get the hang of it. Snake, the fighting between the PMCs and the militia... Snake, we've got to go. You've got an old friend waiting for you.
Otacon. The test results.
Proteome analysis was positive, but the mRNA analysis turned up negative. The wrinkled skin, the hardened arteries. Your early aging symptoms look like classic Werner syndrome. But none of the tests were able to pinpoint the cause.
So,
Well, judging by how rapidly the aging has progressed, I'd say
a year at best, right?
yeah. Snake, let's try another doctor.
It won't make any difference. I'm not an ordinary man to begin with. Not to mention Fox die.
You're right. But we don't know where Naomi is.
Naomi.
Snake!
Colonel. Good to see you.
Well, I'm not a colonel anymore, Snake.
I figured the only place I'd see you dressed like that would be at your daughter's wedding. What are you doing these days?
I'm working for an organization under the UN Security Council. The Analysis and Assessment Staff of the PMC Oversight and Inspection Committee.
Yeah, I remember the resolution being passed a few years ago.
Snake, I came across some information in my work. We found him. In the Middle East.
What?
I'll explain along the way. We've got to stop him. Now. Before it's too late.
Liquid's made his move. We've found him.
He's preparing to unleash his insurrection. Liquid is lying in wait in a Middle Eastern war zone. Track him down.
Only 2 eggs today? Solidus must have taken the day off. 7, 8, 9, 2, 590-360. 330. 5305 4882 46652.
C'est mère.
This is Snake. Do you read me?
What's the situation?
I'm just inside the city limits. This place is crawling with lizards.
Ah, AT Corps' unmanned bipedal weapons, officially designated Irving by the US military. They've spread like wildfire among the PMCs. There are more of those things now in service than tanks. They've got tough armor plating and are highly agile to boot. Your best bet is to stay out of their sights.
Unmanned. Pretty soon they'll have put living, breathing soldiers out of work.
Even so, that's an awful lot of gecko for this scenario. Their numbers exceed the war price for that region. It must have something to do with Liquid's arrival on the scene.
You really think he's here?
You'll have to find the Army's operatives and ask them yourself. Oh, and Snake, I went ahead and used the Mark II to scout out the area before your arrival. You'll find it up ahead.
Mark II?
It's a remote mobile terminal. Sonny and I built it. The Mark II will provide you with a map of the area as well as any battle situation data. You should find it before you do anything else.
Okay, got it.
The rendezvous point is marked on your map. I'll be waiting for you there. Avoid unnecessary combat whenever possible. In this war, neither side is your enemy. There's no point whatsoever in you getting into a fight. Got it?
reinforcements now! Understood. Stand by. Sending reinforcements now.
Snake, it's gonna be tougher to break through. It might be best to avoid that area altogether if you can.
This is HQ.
All clear.
Understood. The state of alert has been lifted. Resume positions. Extra caution.
Snake, press the crawl button while running to execute a roll. Rolling can help you dodge enemy attacks and get past small gaps and obstacles.
We have a hot enemy!
This is HQ. Acknowledged. Sending reinforcements.
It's me, Snake. Snake, it's me.
Otacon.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Snake. Allow me to introduce Metal Gear Mark II.
Metal Gear.
That's right. Just like Rex. But this gear's not a weapon. It's a remote mobile terminal designed to provide you with operational support.
Where are you?
I'm in the Nomad. Where else? I'll be watching you through the Mark II.
Wish I was good with gadgets.
Hey, I'll be with you in spirit. Anyway, because you had to dress up as a militiaman, I had the Mark II bring you some goodies. Starting with this. Put it on your left eye.
Looks like an eye patch.
I call it the Solid Eye. It's an all-purpose goggle that displays radar images and other data in 3D. You can also switch it over to light-amplifying night vision.
The rebels are out there.
It looks like they've got the government's PMC troops beat, at least in numbers.
And this is their home turf.
Snake, I know this is a sneaking mission, but you'll need to protect yourself.
An operator.
I installed a suppressor. And here's a tranquilizer gun.
How thoughtful.
It predates the implementation of the system. By some miracle, it was never recycled. It's getting tough these days finding decent guns that aren't controlled.
You coming?
Of course. I'll follow you wherever you go. Like this. I'll activate stealth so it doesn't attract any attention. If you need it, just bring up the start button menu.
Got it.
Snake, the informants who said they saw liquid here should be a little further up. Head for the rendezvous point. I've placed a mark on the radar in the upper right corner of the solid eye. It's a war zone out there. Stay on your toes.
Snake, it's kind of a schlep, but I've sent you data on an alternate route. Follow the mark on your radar. It's pretty dark in there. Switch the solid eye to night vision mode.
Don't move.
reinforcements up top. You ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm good.
Great. Let's go!
Right behind you. Not that bad. Just hang in there. Oh, man. We're getting patched up. Just hold on a little longer. Damn it. Where are those freaks? What's that?
Snake, The PMC soldiers are using ID guns.
ID guns?
See how the word locked appears in the weapon list?
Yeah.
ID guns are equipped with locks. As long as the lock is engaged, you can't pull the trigger.
Any suggestions?
The locks are only disengaged when they recognize the nanomachine ID inside a soldier's body. Anyone not possessing nanomachines keyed to the system, or anyone who's keyed but not authorized to use that weapon, won't be able to pass the ID gun's verification process.
So I can't use PMC guns?
I'm afraid not. You're not registered with the system. And it's not just weapons either. Vehicles, buildings, everything used for military purposes is secured with this ID control system. Without the proper IDs, it's impossible for PMCs or state armies to fight. Think of it as a soldier's dog tag, only at the nano level.
So, I shouldn't even bother picking up ID guns.
For now, at least. But they might come in handy later on. Snake, if you find there's not enough light to see with the naked eye, you can always use the solid eye's night vision mode. Octocamo is a newly developed camouflage technology that's capable of almost exactly mimicking the appearance of objects and surfaces. It's easy to use, too. All you have to do is press up against a wall or object, or lie flat on the ground while wearing the suit. It can be a powerful tool if you use it right. So tell me, how does it feel?
Not as itchy as I'd have thought.
That suit can mimic the color, pattern, and even the surface texture of walls and floors. Kinda like procuring your own camo on site, right?
I do just fine with the regular stuff. I'm not a chameleon.
You've got it all wrong. We're not talking about lizards. This is octocamo. In other words, it's based on the camouflage capabilities of the octopus. Octopus are sometimes called ninja of the sea. They fool their enemies by mimicking not just the color of their surroundings, but also the shape of the terrain. That suit takes its cue from defensive deception found in nature. Besides, you may not have known this, but there is a snake that can change its body color too. It's called the Capuas mud snake. It's a poisonous reptile indigenous to the Capuas River on the island of Borneo. Its coloring is normally a reddish-brown, but sometimes turns to white. So, snakes can sport disguises too.
Hey, what happened to stealth camo? You used to wear it all the time.
All that does is create an optical illusion. It's no use against Gecko with their infrared sensors. Octocamo, on the other hand, has micro-Peltier arrays that regulate the absorption and release of heat, harmonizing the wearer's body heat with any background IR radiation. Which means it can offer you at least some camouflage protection against enemy infrared sensors. With so many unmanned weapons in the field these days, I'd expect it to outperform the old stealth camo. But if you start walking or running, or making a lot of noise, you'll risk getting spotted by the enemy. And get this, the suit also reduces the weight load on your body and amplifies muscle power. The inside lining sends a weak electric current through your body that stimulates phospholipid production inside your cells, improving circulation. That should make your life gauge recover more rapidly when you're hurt. In other words, Snake, it's a bit of a crutch.
You can cut the senior citizen crap, Otacon.
What are you talking about? Hang in there!
You've attracted a swarm of flies. I think that odor's really stuck on you.
Yup, I stink.
The stench must bother you, right? And it can't be good for your mental well-being. Also, the fumes could alert nearby enemies to your presence. Odor carries downwind, so be especially mindful of enemies in that direction.
Believe me, I know. I learned all about how deadly smell can be back when I was a scout.
Then why not hurry up and find some way to get rid of the smell?
Right.
May be strange, but they demonstrated incredible combat abilities. We've already lost several units today. And one of them even flies. One of them does seem to be capable of flying. At the same time, it also maintains control over several UCAVs, increasing its air attack capability. One of my men recovered one.
Mark II is more than just a communication system. It's got a lot of other functions as well. Try taking it for a spin. See for yourself what it can do.
Pretty sweet, huh? Oh, hold it. Watch where you pointing that thing.
Who are you?
Neither enemy nor friend. Voila.
You're not with the militia, and you're not PMC.
I'm a weapons wholesaler. All shapes, all sizes. But there's no need to worry, because all my shit's been laundered.
Laundered?
You see, I take ID guns like the PMCs use and make some mods. Then you can use them without having to match IDs. In other words, I'm a gun launderer. You can call me Drebin.
Drebin?
Yeah, they use that for all of us.
There are more of you?
All over the world. Not that I ever met any of them personally. Me, I'm Drebin number 893. You ain't a registered PMC employee, are you? You need a guy like me. consider it a welcome gift. Take it. The M4, the official carbine model used by the U.S. Army, developed from the M16 service rifle. This one's a top-of-the-line model, real popular with the big PMCs. High precision, not like that government-issue shit. It's, free-floating, of course. Relax, that barrel's clean.
Is the hider CQC compatible?
The beauty of this sucker is that it's got a lot of customizable parts. Change it up the way you want to meet your everyday needs.
Flip-up sight, rail system. Not bad.
Yeah, well, you know, I get a lot of noobs around here. And if you need them, I got a wide selection of aftermarket parts as well.
Frame's pretty rigid. No rattle.
Go ahead, give her a squeeze.
I can't pull the trigger.
Really? That's weird.
What's weird?
Wait, I got it. I bet you're using an older generation of nanomachines.
Older generation?
Sometimes they don't really jive with the new system.
Seriously, who are you?
Whoa. Slow down. Oh, yeah. My day job's working at AT Security. I'm in charge of production control. So I get my hands on all the ID chips before they even register. Have a sip. It's a side of AT the public don't see. From the looks of it, you ain't with any state army. But you ain't exactly green, neither. You've got last-gen nanomachines. So I'm guessing, former U.S. Army. I don't know what you're here for. But you want to be well-equipped, am I right? So, can we talk business or what? You won't regret it.
What's your take on Emoticon?
I don't particularly like the guy. But it looks like we'll need his help with those ID guns. Sonny's been doing a little sleuthing for us. Drebin, a well-known gun launderer in war economy circles. He's a businessman who deals mainly in selling black-market firearms to small PMCs and local militia. Somalia, the Balkans, Lebanon, Darfur, Chechnya, Timor, Peru, the Punjab, Kashmir, Colombia. This guy really gets around.
How's he pull it off, anyway?
You can create a non-ID gun by replacing the ID recognition chip with a counterfeit version. This enables you to bypass the ID recognition process and use the gun. The problem is that there's still a record of the chip being replaced on the system side. Drebin's an employee of AT Security. He must have connections on the inside erasing records for him.
You think the Patriots are involved somehow?
I'm not so sure. If the Patriots were running the system from behind the scenes, then a weasel like Drebin would be a real pain in their collective ass.
Can he be trusted?
Remember, Drebin's a green collar. He makes his living off the war economy. He doesn't let emotions get in the way of business, and he never gets his own hands dirty. The only thing he trusts is money. I share your concern, but what if we keep him at arm's length? Use him only to get intel and the supplies we need. Keep it strictly business.
All right.
So, we ready to make a deal or what? Okay then, let's talk business. This is a war zone. There's product coming in here by the truckload. And you'll be picking up a lot of guns in the field, I'm sure. Whatever guns you don't need, I'll take and buy them off you. That'll earn you points you can cash in for services.
Like what?
I'll launder your ID guns, no more locks. And I can also sell you the guns I've got in stock. Let me show you. To ensure you can use non-ID guns, I'm gonna have to suppress the old nanomachines you got in you. Otherwise, they'll interfere with the system. Here, stick yourself with this. It's full of suppressor nanomachines. Relax, it won't hurt. You're scared of needles or something? See? No sweat. Now you can use non-ID guns, no problem. Hey, be nice to our guest. Step outside. Boo. There you see? No problem. From now on, when you pick up an ID gun that says lock, you just let me know. You name it, I can launder it. Of course, it'll cost you. The going rate depends on the war price at the time. Man, I gotta give this shit a rest.
Looks like you're doing pretty well for yourself.
You might say that. What with the war economy and all, and the system clamping down on things. System codes are the law now, and control's essentially absolute, paving the way for fat profits if you're willing to bend the law. Demand keeps on growing thanks to the war economy. I sell ID guns to the PMCs and state armies, and naked guns to terrorist groups and paramilitaries. And these ID guns can't be sold on the black market. System's practically a license for us arms dealers to print money. Privatizing the military's made the PMCs big and bloated. The fatter the PMCs get, the line between civilian and soldier is gonna get real blurry. Sooner or later, the whole damn human race is gonna be green collars. More like we're all gonna be fighting proxy wars. But hey, this war economy puts the food on my table. You're a green collar too, aren't you? Yeah, it's in your eyes. You've seen a lot of combat.
What makes you think you know me?
Nothing to be ashamed of. I'm the same way. I grew up here too. I got no interest in the outside world. All right then. If you need me, holla. We specialize in speedy service. Catch my drift? I have you.
I know what you're thinking, but Drebin does have a point. The world depends on war, on the war economy. Can you imagine what would happen if war just disappeared overnight?
Otacon, you and Drebin both mentioned something about a war price earlier. What did you mean by that?
It's a kind of market price, one that fluctuates according to demand, not only for PMCs and military industry, but for the production, distribution, and energy supply networks that support them. It's been growing by leaps and bounds, and investors are really starting to take notice. As the fighting in any given area becomes increasingly intense and prolonged, the war price goes up. No doubt Drebin's rates are linked to that war price. The longer and bloodier a battle becomes, the higher service prices are going to get. To put it another way, the quieter things are, the better the bargains. Snake, we'll use the Mark II to deal with Drebin from here on out. He's what you might call a street vendor. The Mark II can act as a kind of delivery boy, connect you with him. I'm adding a Drebin menu item to the Mark II's weapon menu. Whenever you pick up multiple units of the same weapon, any extras will automatically be sold to Drebin. Any ammo that's inside gets added to your cache. In other words, you keep the ammo, and the weapon itself gets traded to Drebin for points.
I see.
You can then use the points you've earned to unlock ID guns or buy new weapons.
Sounds good.
We should assume Drebin has other agents collecting guns for him besides you, Snake. You know, freelance green collars who collect weapons in exchange for services?
Guess I'll have to rely on him for now.
Okay. Now go meet up with our informants, Rat Patrol. Snake, hurry and get to the rendezvous point with our informants. First, you'll have to get to the other side of that collapsed building. The only way across is straight through. Snake, we've got to meet up with our informants. The rendezvous point is farther up the street beyond that collapsed building. You'll need to pass through it to get to the other side. Careful, Snake. The walls could come down any second. Mark II's batteries are about to run out. Just letting you know. I've taken over the Mark II's controls.
Who's there?
Go away! I'm not done yet!
Stop! No. Stop right there!
No!
Get back here!
Okay, Snake. Hurry to the rendezvous point. Your radar is marked with which way to go.